Hi guys, Kaza here. Welcome back. We're back with some more Hakuoki with Hijikata, and we're all about to head into the fourth part of chapter one. But I think it is also our last part. Yeah, the last part is chapter one. So yay, we're almost done with chapter one. Thank goodness. Anyway, let's get going and find out what happens after the Battle of Okita, and if our beating heart will fall for Hijikata. I mean, obviously we will since the Hijikata route. But if we get good end or bad end, that's more the issue, right? Oh, also, after this subsection, whatever, I'm gonna try this. They're gonna start getting longer because I noticed, I won't lie, I pulled up a guide to check it out. Some of the sections are gonna get long, and if I keep halving each of the chapters, it's gonna take us, well, it's going to take us forever to get through it all. So I'm just going to start doing the length of each subsection for the video. So that's a thing. So they're going to get a bit longer, and I hope you guys don't mind, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's get going. August 1864. After the fight at the inn, I was able to leave the compound much more often. I suppose after what I had done, Hijikata thought I had earned a little more trust. I didn't feel like I'd done anything that extraordinary, but it wasn't about to look a gift horse in the mouth. Who would? Freedom! On this particular day, I was on patrol with Harada in the 10th Division. Excuse me, Harada? The Shinsengumi is out patrolling day and night, right? But what exactly is it that you do? Most of the men in the Shinsengumi were intimidating, death-dealing titans, but Harada was a rare exception, warm and friendly. Kind of flirtatious, too, I think about it. not flirtatious, to me, Souji seems flirtatious. Like, naughty flirtatious? I don't, nah. I'll figure it out. It's all flirtatious to me. Well, I guess we do just about everything.
辻切りや追いはぎはもちろん、食い逃げも捕まえるし、喧嘩も止める。
Oh, I suppose that'd be longer. Okay. Obviously, we arrest people who decide they want to test out their swords on the townsfolk, and we go after people who steal or don't pay for their food. Sometimes we break up fights. People who don't pay for their food?
商家を脅して金を奪おうとする奴らも、俺ら新選組が取り締まってるよ。
And then there's those chumps who think they'll make a living leaning on the merchants. We take care of all that. It wasn't really the answer I'd expected. Most of the stuff they did wasn't nearly as dramatic as I thought. As I thought back, I remembered how excited they had all been when they were preparing for the raid on the Okita Inn. Now I understood why. Did I finally action? Yes. What they had done at the inn was a good deal more intense than their day-to-day work. A little further down the road, a couple men in Shinsengumi blues are waving at us. Nagakura! Our separate rounds have brought us to the same spot.
Yo! 親父さんの情報、なんか手に入ったか?
He was done. I'm like, that doesn't feel to convey the rest of these words. What? Hey, Chizuru. Find anything out there about your dad? I shook my head. No, nothing today.
なくらいがすんだって。今日がダメでも明日がある。そうだろ?
Aw, come on, cheer up. There's always tomorrow, right? Yeah, you're right. There's something contagious about his optimism.
ねえ、シンパチ。そっちはどうだ? 何か異常でもあったか?
Well, Senpachi, find anything exciting?
いや、なんも。けど、やっぱり町人たちの様子がせわしねえな。
No, nothing in particular, but, well, all the people in the street are acting busy, you know? I hadn't noticed it before, but he was right. They were acting strange, almost nervous. Yeah, it looks like they're getting ready to move. Harada nodded.
戦火に巻き込まれまいと今日から避難し始めてるってことか。
You think maybe they're worried about getting caught in the middle of a war? What? War? There wasn't a war. Was there?
長州の奴らが今日に集まってきてんだよ。その関係で俺らも警戒強化中ってわけだ。
Oh, you didn't hear? Well, those Chonsu bastards are showing up around Kyoto again. That's why we got extra watches these days. Oh, well.
池田屋の件で長州を怒らせちまったからな。仲間から犠牲が出れば黙ってられないだろう。
Well, we did give them a bit of a bloody nose at Aikida. I can't imagine they'll just stand around with some of their guys on the ground. Yeah, vengeance. It's a beautiful thing. Were the Chonsu going to try something again? The Shinsengumi were doing their best to keep order in Kyoto. In fact, they saved the city from the rebellious plans of the Chonsu once before with their victory at Aikida Inn. But after all they had done, the people of Kyoto looked at the Shinsengumi with fear and distrust, and plenty of them still sided with the Chonsu. The Shinsengumi were better regarded now than they had been before Aikida, but even so, I told Nakagura as much, but he only laughed.
今日の人間は爆風嫌いだから仕方ねって。
Not much we can do about that. Kyoto hates the Shogu.
どちらにせよ、俺たちは俺たちの仕事をする。長州の連中が今日に来ても追い返すだけさ。
It doesn't matter anyway. We just do our job. If Chonsu attacked Kyoto, we drove him back. Simple. They accepted their situation and never complained. I had a good deal of respect for Harada and Nagakura.
対長州か。もしかすると近いうちに上から出動命令が出るかもしれねえな。
If they don't back off soon, we're probably going to be getting new orders all the way from the top. For the Shinsengumi, the top meant Aizu domain. It's that serious, huh? Harada gave a bark of laughter and nodded.
そんな機会めったにないだろうな。せっかくだからお前も出てみるか？
Well, chances like this only come around every so often. Who knows when the next one will be? You want to join us? What? Join? Did he mean for me to join the Shinsengumi and march to war with them? I couldn't imagine joining them would be as simple as saying, yes, please. Besides, it seemed rather inappropriate for me to ask to participate just so I might satisfy my curiosity. Still, I did want very much to be helpful in some way. Could I perhaps do something like what I had done at Aikida Inn? Deliver a message? Even if I could, though, I was terribly frightened of being anywhere near a battle. On the other hand, the men who had been injured at Aikida were still out of commission. I want to come. Stay behind. I want to help. I want to come with you guys. My mind was made up. Looked at Harada and nodded. I want to help. Bum bum bum. Several days later. Excuse me. Carefully, I lifted the serving platter with its tea for the captains and made my way to the common room. It had taken me longer than it should have to make the tea, so I was a little worried some of it had gotten cold.
すまねえな。そうやってるとまるで故障みたいだな。
Thanks, Chizuru. Man, it's almost like you're our servant or something. Thanks, you make me so much better. Can I kick him? I want to kick him. Just for that line. I wasn't entirely sure how to respond to that, so I stayed silent as I handed out the tea.
ありがとう、雪村君。すまんね。こんな仕事まで。
Thank you, Yukimura. I feel bad asking you to do this. Oh, it's nothing. After all, you're always looking out for me. And besides, I felt much better when I had something to do. It kept me from feeling too much like a freeloader. Okita took a sip of his tea and a mild grimace flickered across his face. Is it too bitter? He shook his head.
おいしいよ。ちょっとぬるいけど、これくらい好きのある方が君らしいよね。
No, the taste is fine, but it could stand to be hotter. Then again, I suppose this sort of tea fits you. I'm like resisting. Saying like, really? Okay, I can see why they're saying he was mean to me. Because it's like it's fine. It tastes great, but it's hotter. but it kind of is like you know? Crap. It's like, oh, hell no. You did not just go there. Sorry. We have the door. Okay. There was a second or two of silence before the door flew open and Kondo strode in, a stern look upon his face.
会津藩から正式な要請が下った。ただいまより我ら新選組は総員出陣の準備を開始する。
Shinsengumi has received an official request from the Aizu domain. All available soldiers are to begin preparations to move out immediately. The room broke out into cheers. They are really happy to see some action.
ついに会津藩も我らの働きをお認めくださったのだな。
It seems the Aizu have finally noticed all the hard work we've been doing men. They look just as happy with the news as the rest of them. Apparently, getting orders directly from the Aizu domain was an occasion for some excitement. Hijikata, however, was the lone exception. Yay.
はしゃいでる暇はねえんだ。てめえらもとっとと準備しやがれ。
Oh, he's excited too. He just, let's go. Let's show him we can get this done. We don't have time for this shit. Stop patting each other on the back and get moving. We need it to go now. He went on to explain to the soldiers of the Chonsu who had already spent some time preparing for their own attack.
たく、てめえの尻に火がついてから俺らを召喚しても後手だろうがよ。
So they only realized there might be a problem when the Chonsu are ready to attack Kyoto. This is bullshit. Hijikata certainly seemed unhappy about the direction things had gone, and I could understand, at least to some extent, how he felt. If the Aizu was asking for help earlier, then the Shinsengumi would have had much more time to prepare.
沖田君と東堂君は屯所で待機してください。不服でしょうが、私もご一緒しますので。
Okita and Toudou, you will remain here at the compound until you find this a welcome order, but, well, neither do I. He rubbed his left arm absently and looked away.
君たちの負傷が癒えていないように、私の腕も思うように動きませんから。
Your injuries keep you from active duty, as does mine. I didn't think there was any chance I hadn't made Heisuke or Okita feel at least a little guilty, but...
傷が残ってるわけじゃないですけどね、僕の場合。でも、確かに本調子じゃないかな。
Hey, I'm completely healed. I might not be 100% yet, but I'm not bleeding or anything. Yet it's almost as if he hadn't hurt Sana at all.
俺だって別に大した怪我じゃないんだけど、近藤さんたちは過保護すぎるんだって。
Making a big deal out of nothing. It's just a scratch. Kondo's being a wuss. Perhaps they were so used to Sana and feeling sorry for himself they simply ignored his comment. That seems reasonable. It's like, yeah, you're little funk. I think about it like fudge, funk, but perhaps it was time I learned to do the same.
大した怪我じゃないとか嘘つくなよ。昨日も傷口に薬塗られて悲鳴上げてただろ。
You sure about that? Last like the pain had you crying like a baby before you took your medicine.
うわ、そういうこと言う。サヌさんは武士の情けとかないの？
You son of a bitch! Why you gonna rat me out? Isn't even a heart in there, you old bastard? It seemed Heisuke's injury hadn't healed quite as much as he had claimed. Obvious by the fact he's yelling, eh.
けど、本当のことだろ。
Maybe, maybe not, but you know I'm telling the truth.
せめて女の子の前では黙っててくれたっていいじゃん。
Yeah, well, you don't have to say in front of a girl, you know? Aw. It's like, yeah. It's like, I must look manly. Must look manly in front of Chizuru. It's like, okay. He glanced sideways at me. Oh, don't worry about me. Everybody gets hurt. His bangs hid the scar rather well, but it still looked painful. There was a moment of silence, then Nagakura spoke.
そういえば、もし新選組が出陣することになったら、一緒に参加したいとか言ってたよな。
Oh yeah, Chizuru, you said you wanted to go with us if we got called in, right? You still up for that? Yes, I had said that, hadn't I? Well, I knew it wouldn't be as simple as asking to go.
おお、そうだな。こんな機会は二度とないかもしれん。
Ah, yes, well, I see no reason why not. After all, it isn't often that one is given such an opportunity. Oh, what? I hadn't expected Kondo to agree so easily.
うわいいな。せっかくだし俺の分まで活躍してきてよ。
Whoa, you sure are lucky, Chizuru. Make sure you do us proud, alright? Do us proud? Hijikata glanced at me and sighed.
今度も無事で済む保証はねえんだ。お前を短所でおとなしくしてやろう。
We can't promise you won't get hurt or worse. You should stay here.
君は新選組の足を引っ張るつもりですか。遊びで同行していいものではありませんよ。
Do you wish to place undue burden on the Shinsengumi? Or is that something one does to ease one's boredom? His cold smile was anything but comforting. He's such a bundle of fun these days, isn't he?
三男総長、それは彼女が迷惑をかけなければ同行を許可するという意味の発言ですか？
I'm sorry, I like Saito because he has purple hair. I have a weakness for purple, so yeah, I'll just let you guys know that. In case no one knew, I think I've mentioned it a few times. Just saying. Kono-sana, can I take it that means that so long as she's not a burden, she's free to accompany us? What? I blinked. Is Saito standing up for me? So doesn't seem nearly as surprised as I was.
まさか斎藤君まで彼女を参加させたいとおっしゃるんですか。
You can't be saying you're actually in favor of bringing her along. Saito simply shrugged.
彼女は池田屋事件において我々新選組の助けとなりました。
She was an asset at Okita.
働きのみを評価するのであれば一概に足手まといとも言えないかと。
I only intended to point out that, judged by her actions, she has hardly proven a burden thus far. I could feel heat rising in my cheeks. Never in a million years would I imagine that Saito might have a word of praise for me.
よし、わかった。君の参加に関しては俺が全責任を持とう。もちろん同行を希望するのであればだが。
Excellent. I'll take full responsibility for your inclusion. That is, of course, if you still wish to participate. So I didn't seem quite convinced. I looked around the room until my eyes met Okita's.
戦場に行くんだって分かってるなら、あとは君の好きにすればいいと思うよ。
Do whatever you want to do, as long as you understand that we're going to battle, not a party. I looked like I wasn't about to get any help from Okita. In fact, he didn't seem to care one way or the other. Well, perhaps I'd be able to help them out like I had during the Battle of Okita Inn. I nodded. Yes, I would like to participate. After that, everything was a blur. As quickly as we could, we prepared for battle and marched to Fushimi Magistrate's office. There was a number of Kyoto Judiciary Commissioners' men gathered there as well, in preparation for battle with the Chonsu. Walking proudly in front of the men, Kondo approached the government official standing near the gate.
会津中将松平片森様をお預かり新選組京都守護職の要請により長谷参事申した。
We, the Shinsengumi, are reporting as requested by Lord Katamori Masudaira. Sorry, I messed up. The Lieutenant General of the Aizu. Katamori Masudaira was the Lord of the Aizu domain and also the Kyoto Military Commissioner, which made him a very important person. His name would have been immediately recognized. The man standing near the gate looked slightly taken aback at the mention of the Shinsengumi.
要請だと。そのような通達は届いておらん。
You were told to report here, but we received no such orders. What? No, that didn't make any sense. Perhaps sensing my confusion, Saito leaned over and whispered under his breath.
内輪の情報伝達さえままならんとは戦況によほどの混迷を呈したと見える。
If they haven't received notice of our orders, the lines of communication are likely in disarray. We can assume, therefore, that this conflict has become rather chaotic. Chaotic? I did my best to keep my own voice at a whisper. Do you mean the Chonsun is overpowering the Shogunate's forces?
そうとも限らん。しかし、敵方に翻弄されてはいるのだろうな。
Not necessarily. However, I do suspect that the enemy is doing well. The Judiciary Commissioner supposedly answered to the Military Commissioner, but the Military Commissioner's office was controlled by the Aizu domain, and the Kuwana domain controlled the Judiciary Commissioner's office. I think I'm going to need a chart for that and write it out for myself. I didn't fully understand the relationships between the different domains, but so far as I knew, the Aizu and Kuwana had never been on very good terms with one another. In other words, the situation we found ourselves in was less than desirable.
しかし、我らには正式な書状もある。上に取り次いでいただければ。
Nevertheless, our assistance has been formally requested. If you could only speak with your supervisor.
取り継ごうとも回答は同じだ。さあ帰れ。身風呂ごときに用はないわ。
Wouldn't make any difference. Now get out of here. We have no use for Mibu's wolves. Nickname given to the men who would later become the Shinsengumi. It was both a reference to reputation and start spelling the original name, Miboro, meaning Ronin of Mibu. Interesting. What? How terrible. If they had asked for Shinsenguni's help. I felt Harada's hand on my shoulder and turned to look up at him.
まあ、お前が落ち込むことじゃないさ。俺たちの扱いなんざこんなもんだ。
Where am I standing that everyone's around me? Forget about them. This isn't anything to get worked up about. We get this sort of crap all the time. But I wasn't truly a member of the Shinsengumi. But even so, I was galling.
俺らが諸次第に対して下手に騒げば、合図の顔を潰しちまうかもしれないしな。
If we throw a fit here, then we might hurt Aizu's reputation. You get it? Oh. The Kuwana would only need to complain if Shinsengumi hadn't shown them proper respect to make trouble for the Aizu.
近藤局長、諸次第では話になりません。奉行所を離れ、会津藩と合流しましょう。
There's nothing we can do here, Chief. We should leave the magistrate alone and meet up with the Aizu domain men on our own. Kondo nodded agreement, but his frown didn't fade.
それしかないな。守護職が設営している陣を探そう。
Yes, I agree. But it is our only choice. We must look for an officer of the military commissioner. And with that, the Shinsengumi set off to find the soldiers of the Aizu domain. Night had fallen by the time we had arrived at Kujo Beach, near what is now Kanji Bridge at the Komodo. I don't know where that is, but okay. After we left the Fushimi magistrate's office, we made for the Aizu Manor. Once we arrived, we relayed our encounter at the magistrate's office and asked for new orders. The manor official we met with directed us to go to Kujo Beach, which we did. However...
Shinsengumi? 我々会津藩と共に待機。
What? Shinsengumi is to join us?
そんな連絡は受けておらんな。すまんが、藩邸へ問い合わせてくれるか。
Yeah, sending us on a runabout mission, aren't we? Oh, we've received no such order. I apologize, but could you speak to the commander of the manor? Nakagara had apparently had enough.
ああ？お前らのところの判定が新選組は九条河原へ行けって言ったんだよ。
So pissed. What the hell? He was the one who told us to come here, god damn it.
その俺らを適当に扱うってのは新選組を呼びつけたお前らの上司をないがしろにする行為だって分かってんのか？
You wanna fuck us? Fine. But you're gonna be disobeying a direct order for a superior, pal. You really wanna do that? The man opened and closed his mouth a few times and fell silent. Kondo did his best to keep his voice neutral, but there was no hiding the grin that spread across most of his face.
陣営の責任者と話がしたい。上に取り継いでいただけますかな。
I'd like to speak to your commanding officer, if I might. Do you think you might be able to take me to him?